Good morning and welcome to the Spotlight interview series. On behalf of the TCI Secretariat, I would like to thank Rene for taking the time to be here today with us for the Spotlight interview series. Can you please tell us your name, where you're located, and your organization, and about your organization's work?
Yes, I am Boma Rene Boma. I am the Chief of Operations of African Albinism Ambassadors. We're based in Yaoundé, Cameroon, which is found in Africa. And the name of our organization is African Albinism Ambassadors, which is a non-profit making organization that advocates for the rights of persons living with disabilities.
Thank you. My next question is, as persons with albinism, how do you relate to the identity of being with persons with psychosocial disabilities?
Persons with our organization in general advocates for the rights of persons living with disabilities. Persons living with psychosocial disabilities, I would like to break it into two, which is psychosocial and disabilities, because persons living with disabilities most of the time, due to our research, we discovered due to the discrimination and lack of reasonable accommodation, they end up developing psychological setbacks. So most persons living with disabilities have a level of psychosocial setbacks because they have to get reasonable accommodation to meet up with the society, which is same as persons living with psychosocial disabilities, which is just a need for a reasonable accommodation of their psychology or of their mental way of reasoning to adapt to the society. So it's just a discovery we made that persons living with albinism, persons living with disabilities, most of the time have a certain lacune because of the lack of reasonable accommodation. They have this psychosocial or disability, which has to be met up with because they have to put in extra efforts to strengthen their psychological abilities and able to meet up with the society or to be able to have reasonable accommodation to meet up with the society's standard of measuring psychological ability.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And how do you use music as a way of advocating for your rights in your country?
Using music to fight for the rights of persons living with disabilities. For persons living with albinism, we have musics we record, such as of late we did the No Sunburn, No Cancer, which is an EP which was launched, and we used to do a campaign which we're advocating for equal rights for persons with disabilities. We also have the Madman, which is a person living with psychosocial disability, whom we produced, which was a song trying to explain his daily life and the difficulties he's going through with psychosocial disabilities in a country like Cameroon, which has almost no reasonable accommodation for persons with psychosocial disabilities. So we are trying to do a campaign for equal rights for persons with psychological or psychosocial disabilities with this single, which we produce by doing, we're doing from school to school because it's mostly educational. So we go from school to sensitize maybe administrators, students on how to give or how to respect or provide reasonable accommodations or understand persons with psychosocial disabilities by letting them know it's not a great problem. All they need is
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your work and about your music. Thank you again for taking out the time today to be with us here today. Thank you so much, Renee.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.